This video is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
You know, it's hard to hit velocity when you haven't seen anything in 5 days. You know, so that's my biggest thing. We had a team that set all these records and everything offensively, and we didn't hit much in the postseason.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because you didn't execute. To me, it sounds like one big fat excuse, doesn't it? Well, we didn't win because of this outside factor. We didn't win because of that outside factor. We couldn't win because Rob Manfred did this. Or,
I don't know if it's complacency, because they weren't complacent. Oh, trust me. How many times did they punt those games? And Rob punted the games with the lack of urgency because they had the playoffs in mind. We have to be ready and have our guys right for the playoffs. Well, what the hell did that get you? That dumb attitude, once they started to, run out of the fuel with all the winning and they came back to reality a little bit because there's natural peaks and valleys in a long season, they got complacent.
So that's how Philly fans are doing right now. Here's what I will say. I said last year multiple times that I didn't like the playoff format, but I also said it when the playoff format was introduced, and we didn't. Everybody is saying the right things here. No excuses. No one is taking anything away from the Phillies or the Padres. They shouldn't be. Those teams came in and won. But I really want to look at this objectively. With anything new, there's always going to need adjustments, right? In anything like this, it's going to need adjustments. And I really do credit Rob Manfred. I have full faith that Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball, we're trying to do the right thing here. It's nobody's fault, but there is ways that I think this can be made better, that this layoff can be shortened, that things can change for the better and really give those teams an advantage, because I don't think it is one at this point. Baseball players are routine players, and I don't think that the layoff is working as intended. Now, the problem with it, and it's a legit problem, is because it puts Major League Baseball in a bit of a bind. Because yes, you're hurting the teams that you're meant to help by giving them this extra layoff. Keep in mind, the layoff is longer than the All-Star break. We've talked about it extensively here. I think the playoff format is completely in favor of the wild card team, whichever one does advance. I think sometimes you will see the team that had a bye win, but it's rare. 3 of 4 teams last year, including the Braves, did not win, and they had the bye. You're talking, big teams. The only one that did was the Astros. Credit to them. But I saw last year and the year before that the Braves, you get to the playoffs, you take 5 days off, you wait for the wild card team to be decided, and when you get back, you're talking about a team with historic numbers. Let me just run this back. 276 team average, 307 home runs, 845 OPS, all for first in the game, not the league, the game. So I saw a team go from that to being lost at the plate, to being just completely overmatched by velocity, when all year long they weren't. And again, as Snit said so eloquently in that video, Snit said that, look, you're talking going from 5 days. That's longer than the All-Star break. That is a problem for baseball players. Don't tell me it's not. And the reason I have such a problem with it, Philly fans, I actually really like Broads' stuff. I think he's very entertaining. This is not a shot. This is just what I see from Philly fans on a regular basis. It looks like my comment section when Philly fans get involved. But when I say, hey, I think there's a problem with the format and the Braves just lost, a lot of folks tend to, especially if their team just beat us or beat the Braves, a lot of fans and a lot of people in the media tend to say, oh, you're making excuses. When in reality, I'm seeing the difference from the team prior to that 5-day gap, which is a real difference. And the Phillies just learned about it. The Braves lost last year 3-1 in the series to Philadelphia. The Phillies just, of course, lost to the Mets. And guess what the difference was? 3-1 in the series. Schwarber 2 for 16. Turner, 3 for 15. Harper, 4 for 12. Castellanos, 7 for 17. Harper and Castellanos had the best performance. It gets really downhill from there. Bohm, 1 for 13. Real Muto, 0 for 11. You heard that correctly in this series. Stott, 2 for 11. Wilson, 0 for 3. Marsh, 1 for 13. Man, that seems really familiar. It's almost like the Braves, I don't know, last year, the year before. So, Philadelphia, you just got what you asked for. You just got the bye. This was supposed to be your year. And credit to you. Credit to you. You were by far the best team in the division this year. I thought the Braves could have had a chance to chase you down had we been fully healthy, but you got off to the great start and you did not let up. You won the division. Credit to you. How does it feel? You're the best team in your division. You just got beat by not the second place team, the third place team. Are you ready to admit that there is a problem with the format? Because I've been saying it for years. And it's not because I'm a Braves YouTuber. It's because I have a problem with the format. And I'm not alone. There were problems with the format prior to it even being announced. Do you remember Trevor Bauer?
The best team in baseball is sitting at home waiting for all this crap to transpire. God forbid someone's ace pitches 4 days before the end of the regular season and then has 10 days in between starts. And this isn't football where you can heal up and that helps. Like, being on a routine is so important in baseball. We play for 6 months. And now you're going to say at the most critical time of the year that we're going to get 10 days off maybe, or the 6 days in between games, and who knows how the pitching rotation lines up and all this different stuff, and that's supposed to be a benefit?
Do you remember him coming out in that momentum video? Regardless of what you think about Bauer, he spoke about this specifically, saying that this is not good. This is the most routine sport there is. And you're taking a few select teams, which, by the way, have earned an advantage. They have earned an advantage. And if they shouldn't earn an advantage, if you disagree with the fact that they should have an advantage, well, then what are we playing the regular season for? Because if it's me, I want a wild card spot every go-round. And I know the Braves didn't make it, but I still would sit on the fact that half the team was hurt. That said, you can't tell me that there aren't problems with the format. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm watching it play out for yet another season. Let's look at it. The Mets, of course, just beat Philadelphia. The series between San Diego and LA, that's tied at 2-2 right now. They're going to a Game 5 tonight. We'll see what happens there. That's, of course, the deciding game. If the Padres win that, both National League teams that are playing in the NLCS will, of course, be from the Wild Card Series. And if you're curious, I'm pulling for the Padres. On the American League side, Detroit, a wild card team. They're leading Cleveland right now 2-1. Kansas City, they're leading the Yankees 2-1. So you may be out there asking, well, Tyler, we can complain about it all day long. What's going to change it? I'll tell you what's going to change it is if the Yankees and Dodgers don't make it to a league series. That's what's going to change it. A league championship series. That's what's going to change it. If you have Detroit and Kansas City on the American League side versus the Mets and the Padres. Now, granted, the Mets and the Padres, they're still kind of big time clubs. But if you have Detroit in there and Kansas City in there, Major League Baseball is going to start saying, ooh, I don't know about it. And you may be out there thinking, if you're on the other side of this, well, Tyler, it's competitive balance. I like seeing teams that, you know, are lesser than kind of compete. And I'm all for the Cinderella story, but I'm not for a manufactured Cinderella story. And that's what this is, because you can't tell me that Detroit was better than Philadelphia this year. But right now, if it ended right now, Detroit would make it. You can't tell me that the Mets were better than Philadelphia this year. I disagree with the expanded playoffs. I'm an old school guy. I disagree with it. But if you're going to do it, I'm all for expanding it further. Make everybody play the wild card round, but the top seed gets the bottom seed. That's how I would fix this. And if you don't want to do that, make the wild card round a doubleheader on day one. Very rarely does it go to 3 games anyway. Make it a doubleheader, and maybe you get it decided that way. If you split, it's 2 days as opposed to 3. And I think you fix a lot of your issues there. But that's just me. The reason they're not going to do it is because of money. There's no doubt about it. You get money from another 3 games compared to 1, as the old time goes. So that's now 12 games for all of Major League Baseball that you've added. That's attendance, that's television ratings, that's concessions, that's everything, advertising, all of that. So they're not going to do it. But I disagree with the way this has been implemented. I think it cost the Braves a real shot last year, for sure. I think it cost Philadelphia a shot this year. There's an olive branch for you. Can we agree that this is a problem? Because it is. And I'm not just saying it because my team, quote unquote, has been affected. I'm saying it because your team has now been affected. And the Yankees are by far better than anybody else over there in the American League right now. By far. And now, granted, Kansas City has a great club. I'll give them that. But you're mean to tell me that Kansas City, who's the 5 seed, by the way, Detroit is the 6 seed. You really want that on the American League side if you're Major League Baseball. You don't. And you're really risking right now a clean sweep of the wild card teams. That's where we're at. I don't agree with that. I think it's wrong. And I think at this point, you're looking at a situation where Major League Baseball is going to have to start owning up to the fact that, yeah, maybe the wildcard teams really do have an advantage.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.